So in this video, we're going to talk about how manufacturers can generate leads for their sales teams using outbound. A lot of conversations we've had over the past few weeks with sales directors and sales managers and CMOs has been around about how can we get more leads to their sales teams, their reps, so that as opposed to prospecting all the time, they're actually, negotiating deals, they're on contracts, they're speaking to people who are interested. And one of the main sources of leads that kept coming up along with other methods has been trade shows. Now, I like trade shows, and a lot of these people didn't understand, what is the difference between trade shows and outbound and how we could help them. So in this video, we're going to talk about the difference between, using outbound and also looking at trade shows as well, and to see, where the benefits are and the inconveniences. So yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, this isn't going to be a video about, crapping all over trade shows. I do like trade shows. I've been to quite a few myself when I was working for manufacturers before. And it's a great place to actually, to meet people, to meet buyers, to go around and see different products. I find it personally quite interesting to see what's on offer. But there's a lot of things that go into trade shows that make it quite unique. First off is that you can see your competitors' products firsthand, as well as, you can meet buyers face to face and they can test your products firsthand as well. They can see, what you're making, what you're producing. But around trade shows, there's a lot of different moving parts that make it quite expensive. Now, if you're a sales rep, you don't really care because you're not paying the bill. But the money has to come from somewhere, and it'll come from, it comes from the business, and it'll come out the sales budget or the marketing budget. And in a lot of cases, this actually adds up to quite expensive. Now, you can talk from anywhere from 15 grand for an area, for a stall, to even 35 grand, even higher, depending on what you're selling, kind of thing. And then around that, you've got your travel, you've got your hotels, you've got food, you've got to transport all your equipment there. And let alone also you've got the cost of, sometimes you do advertising for the trade shows as well to, promote to your existing clients or your prospects that you're going to be there so they can meet you. But also you're taking your reps, generally it's your reps, out of the office. So they're not selling on the phones anymore. They're not doing meetings. They are at the trade show. And ideally they're selling, right? But I've walked around many trade shows where, there are some reps that are great. They're there to prospect. They engage conversation. They want to, know who you are, what you're up to, what you're doing, kind of thing. But I've seen a lot of reps just standing around, having a good old chit chat, and obviously everything's on expenses, right? So it's kind of a bit of a jolly. But yeah, this is an opportunity where this is a time where your reps are not actually making money unless they're speaking to buyers directly, but they're off the phone. They're traveling to these events, they're spending nights in hotels. All of this is at company cost, right? So this can get quite expensive. And I do like I say, I do like trade shows because of the face-to-face value, and, you get to bring out prospects to trade shows. You get to meet them there. It's an opportunity for you to meet your prospects, not necessarily in a direct sales interaction, but in a, let's meet up. You can see our products and that kind of thing. And, we can have a discussion if you're going to be there, kind of thing. Now, the problem with this, unfortunately, is the unpredictability. Now, obviously, trade shows happen probably every year, depending on what kind of trade shows you go to, and you can forecast these things in advance, but you don't really have much of a say in who turns up, right? So it can be quite inconsistent in terms of, who actually shows up. You don't know those kind of things. Now, you can call your prospects out, but in a lot of cases, you're relying on an ideal customer of yours looking at the map and going, oh yeah, okay, I've heard of these people before. Let's go and have a look, or just randomly walking around and seeing your show. So the fact that it's quite inconsistent in terms of people or buyers who are going there, you don't necessarily have control over this. And also the cost makes this quite a costly solution. And, if you've got a list of leads, people who write their names down, you follow up with those. Maybe you'll get 3, maybe 5 good contacts, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's once a year it's not very great, and that comes at what cost? Quite expensive, right? So let's look at outbound as a potential, alternative to this. You don't necessarily have to start doing trade shows, but as something that's separate to this. All right, so let's look at outbound. So let's say this is you, and you send your reps to a trade show. You get you send them there, you spend a bunch of money, and they'll come back with probably a sheet or a list of people who are interested with their email addresses, phone number, etc. You go through that list. Maybe 2, maybe 3 of those leads are interested, probably more. We used to, when we had a stand there, what we'd do is we'd have a box of chocolates and we'd just throw chocolates at people. People would catch them and be like, okay. It's kind of like a bit of a shock. They're not used to that. And some people didn't catch them, but it was funny. But then you'd start a conversation. And, obviously some people would be interested in what we sell. Some people would not. But at the end of the day, they get free chocolates. They don't really care. They're going around picking up freebies from everywhere else. So you. And so what they'll do is they'll put their name on a sheet, and then you'll follow up with these as soon as you get back. Maybe you'll get 1 or 2 or 3 that are actually serious out of that bunch. Cost you a load of money. You maybe have got some market research into like your competitors and what they're offering, kind of thing. So that's something to look out for. But yeah, let's compare that to outbound. The difference between this and outbound. Well, first of all, outbound, people don't get to see your face to face. They don't get to see your products, which is the only negative I'd see in this sense. But also, outbound, you control the volume. You can control how many people you reach out to. And whereas with trade shows, you're relying on your buyer or your ideal buyer being at the trade show at the time you're there, not being, well, they probably are being pitched by your competitors. They're being pitched by everyone all the time. But in this case, you're reaching out to them when they're in their office, when they're in front of their computer, when they're in work mode. And if you've got a good enough offer and you're selling them, I don't know, a reduced lead time on their CNC machine parts or sheet works, whatever, and that's something that's valuable to the purchaser, then you'll pique curiosity. You can get them on the phone. So how does this work in terms of numbers? So let's say you want to get, 2 or 3 people a week on the phone. You got to reverse engineer, what is your booking rate, and how many people should you be reaching out to? So in this case, if you've got a 0.5% booking rate, which may appear low, but actually is pretty average, you'd be looking at about 600 leads per cycle or per campaign to generate 3 leads. Now, you can increase this number here by having a better offer and having a better, targeting a better quality list of buyers, having better case studies, having better examples. But the idea here is that we're reaching out to 600 people, we're seeing who's interested, and we're booking them on for a sample call, or you can send out samples and then book them on for a call. You can find out their needs. Pretty sure these people will be open to a conversation. If you've got something that's very interesting. I've seen booking rates as high as 1%, where you've got a good enough offer, and people will literally just, okay, I'm interested in this. Let's have a chat, kind of thing. So next question is, okay, so 600 people. How do you send out 600 emails, for example? Now you can obviously do it manually. I would not recommend that. It'll take you ages. You can use instantly.ai, or smartlead.ai. And in this case, you can upload, these are both relatively similar. Smartlead is probably the best one. It is the best one. I use Smartlead. I've used both of these, but I prefer Smartlead. You can upload a bunch of email inboxes into there, and you can send out, hundreds of emails per day. So your sending capacity there is kind of solved with these solutions here. This will cost you about $100 a month on like a normal plan. Here, where do I find the leads to put into them? Okay, so you've got multiple places. You can look at Pandabase, Apollo. You've got Clutch. You've also got Findymail. Now, some of these, this one, for example, they will give you just types of company, right? You can cross-examine databases to find out the information. What you need is someone's name. You want to know if they're the right company, and you want their email address, of course, to be able to reach out to them. So sometimes you can reverse engineer this from the company. So you look at the company. Okay, is it, for example, let's say, let's use the example of Sheetworks, CNC machine metal parts. You're looking to reach out to manufacturers, that produce, either phones or something like that, right? You're reaching out to the manufacturers, but you're reaching out to the purchaser at the company. So what you do is you find manufacturing companies that are similar to companies that you're already working with. Okay, so you got to be specific. You can launch multiple campaigns, but like each campaign has to be different based on different factors. But obviously, target market is obviously the first one. So if you look at manufacturing company, and you can use Pandabase to identify which companies are similar to the ones that you're already serving, and then what you'll do is you'll extract that list. You'll have a list of companies here, company. And then what you'll do is you'll take this list and then you'll chuck it into Apollo, for example. Like you can take out the domains and you can throw it into Apollo. And I'll put a video on how to do this later. It's Apollo.io. And there you can extract and you can find out the purchaser, and you can bring out a contacts list. So you've got the name, you've got the LinkedIn, you've got the email address, you've got the job title, blah, blah, blah. And so this gives you personal details, obviously still professional, but it's like personal details as opposed to the company details. And this is the information that you use to reach out to. Now, you have to verify the leads here. You've got to make sure that the email addresses are still valid, because people move jobs all the time. Utilizing multiple databases to enrich data and find the people that you're reaching out to. So now what you can do is you can take these leads, you can put them into Smart Lead, you can create an email, upload that into Smart Lead, and then what you'll do, or instantly, and then what you'll do is and this will send out emails on your behalf automatically. It will drip send them out. It's not like a massive blast. It will just send them out naturally. You can put in multiple emails. You can put in a sequence, and this will send it automatically, on a certain time period for you. And then all you do is monitor the replies. You monitor the interested replies and get them and nurture them onto a call. Like each of the inboxes goes into the master inbox in each of these tools, so you can just reply using the master inbox in these tools as opposed to having to log into each individual inbox. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. There's a lot of drawing everywhere. I'm going to create a video soon about how to use multiple databases to extract information and get contacts for people that we want to be reaching out to. I'm going to show you how I use it. If you're a manufacturer, if you're a sales director and you're looking to get your reps speaking to more people, you want to generate more leads, have more fresh opportunities in the pipeline, then click on the link in the description, have a look, see if it makes sense, book a call with me, and I look forward to speaking with you and seeing if we can help you with outbound. All the best.